Hello, you're listening to Talking At a Slot, the podcast about collecting, buying, and occasionally racing slot cars. I'm Scott, the one that does a lot of buying and not a lot of racing, and here's my co-host, the one that does a lot of painting and a little bit of racing. It's
Pedro.
Yay!
Hello.
He's not that quiet normally. He shouts when we're not on air. He's really quite loud and abrasive.
I am the Brian Blessed of slot car racing.
Gordon's alive!
Flash Gordon's alive!
Anyway, let's not do any more but Brian Blessed, because not everyone will probably get that. I don't suppose.
No.
Hello, Flash Gordon. Surely the demographic of aged, bearded slot car racers and watchers of Flash Gordon must be pretty much a overlapping Venn diagram, I would have thought. I feel safe in saying bearded, aged slot racers because I spent a number of hours yesterday watching the live feed from the US Slotted Nationals that were held at Electric Dreams in California. And yes, we would have been right at home. We would have fitted in. I mean, there were a number of younger, non-bearded people, but they were by far in the minority.
Well, they were lost, presumably. They weren't. They were looking for
just like,
arcades or something.
Yeah. But what was, I have to, all joking aside, hats off to, I presume, Marco at Electric Dreams, because yesterday there was 10 hours, at least, of live feed from the event, multiple cameras set up, timing screen in the corner, some commentary, some interviews. And yeah, I mean, TV coverage of slot car racing is a difficult thing because they're very small and they're very fast. But I have to say I watched quite a bit of it, and I watched the semis and the final this morning on catch-up because they're 8 hours behind. It would have been the middle of the night. And I'm glad I did. It was interesting to see what happened. So, yeah, I think hats off to them. I don't think anybody else... I'm not aware of any other event which has been that accessible, shall we say. Now, I believe they had 60-odd entries live on the thing. So our friend Vincent was there. Of course, he's really from Australia, but he'd come from Austria. I wonder if he only goes to places beginning with an A. Austria, Australia, America. I'm seeing a trend.
The Antarctic?
That's where he's going next, obviously. Slot car racing on ice. It's going to be huge at Christmas. So he was there, mostly the guys from the US, obviously, and California and things. And I think the final was it was 3 Northern Californians versus 3 Southern Californians. But nevertheless, it was an international.
Does that count as a rerun of the Civil War then, or something?
No, because I don't think much of that happened in California. I think that was very much on the other side of the country. But no, it was interesting, and as I say, well put on, and could we do it here? Could somebody, I don't know, Pendle, have they got a track? Gauge Master have probably got the space, but not the track. So
can you see that?
Can
you see that?
On the camera? Can you see that on the camera? Where I've bitten my lip.
Was that because you were biting your tongue?
Biting my tongue, biting my lip. 10 hours of slot car streaming. So you do the streaming malarkey.
Live.
Well, sorry. That makes a big difference. You do the streaming malarkey, and I put my hands up and say I don't understand it. When you said there was coverage, I did think, oh my God, that sounds kind of like esports to me, in that I just don't see the point. I mean, esports, you probably get bigger pictures of the cars flashing around.
You couldn't see much.
Seconds?
You couldn't see much of the cars, but I think this is the challenge with tiny cars going rather quickly. Seeing them is difficult, but that wasn't kind of the point, really. Even in full size racing,
seeing the cars go round isn't the point of racing.
Well, have you ever been to a modern Formula One race? Can you see what the drivers are doing? No.
You can't see what they're doing, but you can see them whip past.
But that's all you can see. You can't see them for the whole lap, sort of thing. General point, watching other people do sports, I kind of, what's the difference whether it's toy cars or football or whatever? You've got to have some. If you've got some interest in what's going on. So I don't think it's any different from that point of view. But no, it was good. But one of the another interesting thing was on, I think, the Friday night, early Saturday morning for us, because I was still up, as we know. An interview with Maurizio Ferrari from Slot It, because Slot It were the sponsor, and he had a number of. They had the new, imminently to be released cars, some of which we knew were coming. So there were some nearly finished test runs, some 3D printed things, and the big news was a completely new to me anyway. I hadn't heard any tell of it. The Datsun, not a Nissan, it was a Datsun back then. Datsun 510 Trans Am car, and
even Marco didn't know about it. So I assume they're a big distributor, or certainly the big. I nearly said in bed with Maurizio. That's wrong, but business-wise,
there was no indication of the accommodation situation. But yes,
big accusation, and we don't have a solicitor, so let's just be clear: he's not actually in bed with them. But I mean, he's a big retailer for them, I'm sure, and so would surely have some knowledge. And it seems a big surprise to him as well. And I think it got a wee little round of applause from the audience.
Yeah, well,
that was the bit that I would have tuned into. I did tune into, and that was worth the price of admission. It wasn't worth 10 hours of streaming, but it's very interesting.
The clever thing, of course, if you live stream something on YouTube, as soon as you finish, it loads it up as a normal video, and people can access it at any time. So any of our
all 10 hours,
if you want to watch all 10 hours, you can go and do it. So if you're in the middle of watching, I don't know, insert series of Marvel superhero films here, you're probably more entertaining watching some slot car races.
On that we agree.
Oh no, that's not the point of this podcast. But I have to say, as you know, I'm not a racer, and I don't take tuning very seriously at all. And I therefore did have to chuckle that in between each heat, the racers sort of stayed on the podium, and their presumably, support team were fettling the car and cleaning the tyres, and tiny little bottles with needles on them. They were dropping some sort of magic liquid in. I thought, it's only just run for 2 minutes. It's fine. It's not like it's done 10,000 miles, and it's got no moving parts other than the...
Hang on. They were oiling them after each heat.
Not
that
the tyres.
No ordinary oil they're putting on. Oh, okay.
Not the tyres. The tyres, I understand from what I picked up listening to, the tyres had to be... You could condition them before you got there, but you weren't allowed to do anything when you were at the track.
But you could clean them with tape.
There was all the flint removers, it looks, even though I know why they do it, and I know that it probably has a benefit, it just looks, it's a level of ridiculous. Grown men playing with toy cars.
See, this is the interesting thing.
Grown men cleaning the toy cars with lint rollers. It's a bit odd.
I find 10 hours of streaming ludicrous and ridiculous of a 1/32 race. However, cleaning your tyres makes perfect sense, because you've got to do it.
It's just the gulf. The gulf.
No.
Lies between us.
We need a synonym for golf. We don't mention golf on this channel.
Well, as a bit of a sideways, the other racing that I spent time watching this weekend was very much full size, and it also had 60 odd entrants, and it went on 12, a bit more than 12 hours, 14 hours, and that was.
Oh, I thought that was a 24.
Lawnmower racing. So
I thought that was 24 hours.
No, they did. It's because it was the 50th anniversary. They did 500 laps, and a lap was just over a kilometre. So I don't know how close they got to 500 miles. And
has it never been 24 hours?
It has in the past, and I'm kicking myself. I have lived here for 25 years, and I have never gone to this before. It's literally two miles down the road, and I went for the first time on Saturday afternoon. And it's brilliant. It's bonkers. The people doing it are off their head, but it is brilliant. The smell of two-stroke castor oil, these are doing 50 miles an hour or 40 miles an hour. Lots of bumpiness on the field, because until the day before it was just a cut field. Great, fantastic. And we went back at night. Unfortunately, we'd booked to go with some friends for dinner, which we couldn't cancel. I wanted to stay at the track. So we went back for the dinner, then after we finished at the pub, we went back to the track at night time and watched them.
You keep calling it a track, but it was a field.
It was a field, but the track was laid out with little hay bales. It was hay bales all the way around, and
you
long
did send me a
straights.
clip.
So it's fantastic.
Perhaps we can get it in here. I did look at it and think that's just like the cheese rolling they do down in Gloucestershire. It's just a health and safety nightmare.
Well, as far as I know, no one
because those
had.
hay bales weren't going to stop anything.
No, and
like
they didn't.
would.
And what I realised at night was if you were following somebody, they were tended to be following their tail lights. So if the guy in front went through the hay bales because he went wide, the guy he was going through them as well.
But I do that on Gran Turismo all the time. I end up following with a mate. If he makes a mistake, I'm almost guaranteed to just go, "Oh yeah, that looks like a good idea."
Yeah, so you're not driving your own race.
So
lawnmower racing. Now I found myself standing next to my next door neighbour, who said, "We've got to do this," and I said, "I'll be team manager. I am not sitting on a vehicle with no suspension being bounced around for any number of hours, never mind 12." And so the 60 teams, including a team from the Battle of Britain Memorial Fund. And the reason it sprang to mind was one of them.
I was hoping you'd get to the point.
Well, the team names were very interesting. There was one which was the Brazilian national women's synchronized swimming team. None of them were women, none of them were Brazilian, and they don't swim, but that's fine. And another one was called Gulp Racing. And guess what colour their lawnmower was?
Green. Lawnmower's always green.
No, blue and orange. So, and one chap was 79, and I think he's more mental than the rest, or he's completely lost all feeling in his body because they were getting pounded about doing it. It must have been madness. Anyway, good stuff. So what we need
Perhaps he looked upon it as a form of euthanasia that just didn't work for him.
Well, it did spring to mind. I thought it's a way to go. Why not? But two things that's universally connected. So what we need is slot lawnmowers, and I know the very man to make it, and that's at Swift Slots. Because if people you don't know who Swift Slots is, YouTube, Swift Slots, he made a slot wheelbarrow in Gulf livery that works. And it's the best half-hour slot car video you'll ever watch. It's brilliant.
No. Oh, my God. You'll do 10 hours of streaming a 130-second series of races. You'd watch half an hour of a wheelbarrow.
Yeah. It's really clever. I don't know what scale the wheelbarrow is, but the motor is sort of in the wheelbarrow.
132nd?
And no, it's a bit bigger than that. And he's covered it. So the motor is covered by a crate with carrots in it. So it looks like the wheelbarrow has got a crate with carrots in it. It's genius. He's a very, very, very good modeler, is Rob. So
I'm shaking my head in disbelief.
It's the way forward. But anyway, so I'm looking to him to create, and I'm sure Pendle will sell them as kits, slot lawnmower racing. That's what we need.
So...
Follow that, Pedro. What have you been doing?
Well, I didn't think we had finished with all the news from the Nationals.
Oh,
take it. My kids used to watch this god-awful American program. I cannot remember what it was called, but there was a line in it that I used to hear all the time. It was a well-used line when they were having a little tiff, and someone would say, "Take it to the Nationals," and so. Take it to the Nationals, baby. So the Nationals, I didn't think we'd finished with the news coming out of Slotted. We went off on lawnmowers and lawnmowers generally.
Works. I don't know. What haven't we mentioned?
It's a mystery, isn't it?
What?
Well, okay. What haven't we mentioned? There's a new GTR coming, and they have revised the chassis. Oh, you didn't watch that bit.
I did.
Confessions. I skim watched it because clearly, as we've
did you watch it on fast forward? Did you have them going like pinky?
My attention span is not that good.
Really?
Well, that would be like you the last time we tried recording something and we ended up with you at twice the speed. Anywho, there's a new GTR.
Too much coke. I don't know.
There's a new GTR. Yeah, I noticed you're not supping at Kate Moss's table. New GTR body. New GTR chassis, or if you're one of the three Americans that follow us and the imaginary Canadian, chassis. So that they say is going to, well, he implied is going to make it faster than the old one, which is an improvement, but annoying because I've got one of the old ones.
Well, it should lower the centre of gravity a little bit. Was it new?
It is lowered. It is. No, new body shell, new chassis, new everything. Well, not new motor.
That's astonishing. I thought they just modified it to ride lower. That was all.
The interesting thing I thought was Has any of that come across after criticism was levelled on the forums? I won't name names because that gets us in trouble, apparently. There was criticism of the way of its stance, which is an awful phrase. That there was too much wheel arch space and stuff like that. So I don't know. Did he take that on board and rejig the whole enchilada?
I would imagine. I have no idea how much it costs to do that, but I'd imagine that's why I don't doubt you, obviously, but you were watching it on fast forward, not paying full attention. So I would just ask people to double check the source material.
Yeah, watch it for yourself and don't take my word. I could be talking utter slot. But I just thought that was interesting that he was revising that one, because at the moment, GT3 wise, they've got the Skyline. Mm-hmm. 1 or 2 issues of the Maserati, not the Paul Ricard one. That clearly has been canned. Sad times. True story.
The boat sunk, I think.
The R8 is on its way. And did you pick up? He didn't want to get involved in any chatter about Italian firms taking pop at Spanish firms over their copying of making F1 models.
Or indeed vice versa. Yeah, we don't.
Or vice versa. Mm-hmm. But he did kind of have a subtle dig at unnamed people by saying that, completely unnamed people, because he was very proud of the fact that his R8 was made with Audi data, and he said, I can't remember the phrase now, so this is going nowhere, but he said something about it being, a better model than others. And I can only think of...
I encourage people to review the source material. I think he said he was really talking about how accurate it was that they had used the information from Audi. So, the body shell is exactly the right one. I don't
that
remember
could be the word he used, accurate.
I don't remember him casting aspersions particularly on anyone.
No, I read between the lines and saw aspersions everywhere. It's like... Ours is accurate. Yours, not so much.
Well, as we know, we don't know. We would be guess. It would be interesting. I imagine even if you've got the CAD data for the shape of the body, because you've got to make a 1/32 scale thing. You've got a certain radii. You've got to work, or you've got to put mounting things in. You've got to fit motors and guides. And, I would imagine there's got to be some compromises somewhere on that.
Oh yeah, I understand. I completely get that, but that some of the slotification that has happened is a bit. You end up with things looking a bit soft and a bit like floppy Lexan-bodied things that claim to be a GT40, but you look at it and go, no GT40 ever looked like that.
Well, yeah, this is true.
We're still not finished with taking it to the nationals.
You watched more than this than you're unwowing, aren't you? You didn't skim watch. You were sat up.
I did, but I hit exactly the right spot. You missed that there's going to be a TS010.
No, I didn't. You reminded me. I just.
I thought you'd been giddy with that.
Well, of course, I've got. Last week's show, I showed my MTR32
Excuse me.
Le Mans MR2. Well, one of the other 4 Toyotas that I had Milan built for me was a TS010. So I've already got one, as they say.
You're all right, Jack.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Yeah, tell him, but he's already got one. I'm sure it'll be fantastic, and I'm sure if he's doing that car... I think he said this, the XJR14, and I would imagine therefore the Peugeot 905, won't be far behind.
He said the XJR14 was coming. I don't remember the words, but I think the wing was giving issues, not unsurprisingly. But if they do the XJR14, then they surely will do the Mazda, whatever it was, that was basically the XJR14.
Well, yes and no. You
MX-01 or something.
MX-01. I think the bodywork was slightly more rounded on the Mazda.
Man Googles.
I don't think it was literally painted
he won't...
green and orange.
No.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's an Italian trick. He wouldn't do that, surely. He would. I've lost my mouse control.
But that car has got... the XJR14 didn't actually race at Le Mans. They qualified it, but they didn't race it. And then it became a Mazda. Then it became the TWR Porsche that Just won Le Mans with. And then they won again the following year. So that car, the chassis, was quite had quite a lot of success, to be honest. Yeah,
it did. MX-01 it was called, which I always thought sounded like a slot-it motor, the MX-01, because they call those now MX things. But I think we come one step closer to an MX-01, which I would love. I would love that.
Why?
Okay, but we're still
it wasn't very successful. I mean, it was. And you could.
It was a Mazda.
But surely you want the one before, the one that won Le Mans. That looked.
Well, I've got that one, so I want more.
I want more. I know a song about that, but I won't sing it.
The person with the most toys wins, as he breaks his studio equipment.
Well, speaking of which, as you know, and I can't share the details, I've been made an offer to buy a reasonable lump of old Ninko cars.
Once again, you want to move it off the nationals. It's like you don't.
Sorry, you've got more to talk about.
You didn't watch it. I didn't watch all of this video. I seem to have all the facts. Let me wave a piece of paper in a St. Dave of Kennedy style at the camera. I love it when he does that, bless him. I've got some news here. Bing. It looks like a bus ticket to me as well. Half the time when he's waving his piece of paper, it looks like a British bus ticket.
He uses whatever comes to hand. He's recycling.
Yeah. I'm not criticising. It just adds to the amusement. So the other things, I'll mention them briefly because you obviously want to forget all about the nationals.
I've got a bad memory. Tell us, remind us.
I do want. I think it may not be coming across at all, but I think you're right. Marco did a good job on the thing.
Well, I'm sure
10 hours is just. I think that's about 9.5 too many.
I'm sure. I mean, Marco's the front man. I'm sure there are other people there as well. But so Electric Dreams did well. They were open. I think he said as well they got local TV crew in for the breakfast thing to cover it, which is a big thing. But they wanted them at 6 a.m. So he had to ask for some racers to come in at 6 a.m. to run on the plan. So
dedication.
Good on them. Good on them.
2 new Matras. I like my Matra. My Matra goes like stink, and I like my Matra. And there's 2 new ones coming out. New rebodied, and again new chassis, new bodies, new chassis.
Is it a new chassis? Is it not the same chassis that we had before? Because these have just got different tails on them, haven't they?
Yep, no. He said, if you were paying attention, that they moved the guide. The guide is in a different position.
Yes, sorry, I did remember that. Yeah.
Hence a whole new chassis. I don't think I'm saying that right.
I'm not so. Details. I'm not really. I'm into kind of big concepts.
So what you're actually saying is you don't listen.
No.
Why don't you? Because you offered. I don't know what you were offering me really, but tell us about. You were offered a whole load of Ninkos.
I've been offered about a dozen Ninkos, and. Because I've been talking about buying old Ninkos and how great it is to buy old Ninkos, and other people should be buying old Ninkos. And in fact, friend of the show, Dave Slaughter, he was emailing me in the middle of the night just to check I wasn't bidding on something that he was bidding on. And,
no, really?
Yeah.
That's outrageous. Why would... Oh, because he didn't want to gazump you.
Yeah, we said, well, there's no point in us both bidding. I said, no, I'll fill your boots. And
I'm not sure. Is that smacks of insider trading of something?
Well, not really.
A cabal.
It's not like he was selling it, and it was a deal. It was he was just checking. Anyway, did
you see his video where he had? I love Dave Slaughter, but he put something out within the last 10 days where he was having a go at the recycling in the industry or lack of, and I just thought, well, this is interesting content about slot cars. The principle's right. I've ran. Oh, that was the other thing, because I've ranted on about cardboard boxes, and I just thought, well, he's watched us and he's just picked up on our concept. Of
do you know how we publish this on YouTube, and people can leave comments on YouTube?
This isn't seen by the public. It's just the 3 guys in America.
If you had looked at the comments on YouTube, you would have seen that Slaughter had commented. Wait till you. What, Pedro going on about boxes? Wait till you see my next video.
I didn't see that, but you did point, and I have to apologise to some... Oh, is it the imaginary Canadian I need to apologise to? Because I tried some humour in response to one of his comments. It didn't go down well, and the poor soul said, it's all right, don't stop what you're doing, I'll unsubscribe. I thought, no, don't do that. But I worry about him because if he's the same one, he's got some association of Canadian handbag owning men or something.
No, I think he was being funny. Do you remember we did a program?
Oh my God, how humour doesn't work. Doesn't.
It doesn't
I know. Yeah, but a public apology to that man. I wasn't complaining at you. I was just my gag backfired horribly.
You just weren't being funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, the problem was compounded because the automatic bot whose filters for dodgy comments chose to hide it from us until we went to look from it, so we didn't see it for a little while. But anyway,
why is well that? Oh, never mind. Ninko cars. Ninko cars.
Anyway, I've been offered the chance to buy some Ninko cars, and I'm dithering. But I'm genuinely going, will I get one? Will I buy them? Should I buy them? Some of them I've already got, but they're the ones, these are in better condition than the ones I've got, so I could sell them.
Well, they're all brand spankety bank new, aren't they?
They're all pretty much brand spankety bank new. So
they've been sitting around for the best part of 20 years.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
That's outrageous.
It's not unusual. I know a song about that as well, but I'm not going to sing it.
I could sing that. I do that in karaoke.
But the other thing, well, I mean, if I do buy them, look forward to me telling you all because I'll be looking to sell some.
If I do buy them, look forward to adverts interspersed into the YouTube video.
I'll be waving them about, and they'll all come with a special limited edition Talking Utter Slot sticker. So it's worth buying it for the sticker.
I can't remember what the models were. Stickers. Even upside down ones. I can't remember what the models were, but was one of them a Golf?
There was a Golf rally car, Golf police car.
We'll know,
Mercs, etc. Yeah,
we'll know if you've bought them when you start waxing lyrical about the magic of DTM Mercs and of Golf rally cars and stuff.
Yeah,
and then suddenly on that shelf behind you, there will appear a Golf rally car.
Yeah, maybe not. We'll see. The other thing that I'm dithering about, because I'm doing a lot of dithering because I'm old. Is, as everyone may or may not know, last year it was announced that Skeletric, and I'm saying it correctly, they tweeted today, little aside, Skeletric tweeted today saying, "Good morning everybody, except those who call it Skeletrix." I felt seen. Anyway, Skeletric are bringing out the WRC Ford Puma, and so are SCX. So head-to-head, same car, two kind of related brands, common ancestry and all that. And ordinarily, I would go, I'll have the SCX one because SCX rally cars, great. But the Hornby, Skeletric, better than they used to be. So maybe anyway. So the SCX one has kind of broken cover. We've seen it in some Spanish videos. Don't think it's quite hit the shelves here yet. Don't know where the Skeletric one is. Hopefully it's coming soon. I think we saw it at Gaiden, but obviously that was the prototype form. Now, in the good old days...
And was it four-wheel drive? Sorry, was it four-wheel drive?
Neither of... this SCX one is done... I'm going to get this wrong. Is it done by it's done by a rubber band.
Okay, that's four-wheel drive.
And I think so is the Skeletric one.
Okay.
But I've got, and the reason I've started doing, I already have, holding up to camera in dim light. It's very grey day here, sorry for that. The Hyundai.
Oh, Hyundai.
The Hyundai. I don't know if it's
hang on.
No.
Isn't it Hyundai? They're trying to get us in the UK to say it differently, aren't they?
They are, and I'm not going to. Anyway. And this is...
they started it.
They started it, yeah. This is great. I really like this. Is as I say, I've lots and lots of SCX WRC cars from the past. This is a really nice, robust model.
Sorry. So that is a WRC. It's not one. What's the touring car class I'm thinking of?
TRC.
Does it appear in that at all? Right.
It probably does, but they're not quite the same thing. Anyway,
that looks quite a sharp model.
It's a nice, very nice model, and I thought, the focus to go along with it. But I'm sort of dithering, so I might have to dither a while longer and see when we get both of them on a shelf somewhere. Maybe in time for one of the autumn swap meets. That would be good.
I don't think you could. If you want to run the two together, you've got to stick with the 6 one. Sharp intake of breath.
This is the heat in the, you know, which is going to look best, which is going to run best, which is going to be most robust, which, you know, all that stuff. So that's why it's, I mean, and you know, a genuine head. How often do we get a slot car manufacturer or two slot car manufacturers making the same model at the same time?
I was going to say, we get them making the same model all the bloody time. R8, anyone?
It's like good. I mean, hark back to the old days when you would get Ninco and SCX and Scalextric making a WRC car, so the Corolla or a Subaru or whatever. And it was very easy then because, you know, the Ninco would be best, SCX would be next, and the Scalextric one would be terrible. That's not so clear cut these days because the Scalextric's cars are a lot better.
Yeah.
Have you run your Rover yet? Have you run? What I'm saying is it's no longer a kind of, I'll definitely have that. It's kind of this.
I thought you were saying it was a rare event that two manufacturers had the same car coming
It is
out
these
at the same
days.
time.
I think 20 years ago probably wasn't so much because they were making fewer. I mean, you'd get Carrera and Scalextric would make the same F1 cars roughly the same time, wouldn't you? And the rally cars, because of the Spanish market, you know, everybody was making sets of rally cars. But I think it happens
But
a
in
lot
these
less
days,
now.
not.
Well,
okay. Well, maybe they're not coming out at the same time, but they've all got the same bloody catalogue, it seems to me. Rover Vitesse. Yes, I've been looking at my Rover Vitesse in slightly more detail than is probably healthy for me. And I've decided I'm not happy with one or two aspects of it. However, I am joyously happy with the overall ensemble. And as we speak at, 3:15 on this rainy Monday afternoon, my chassis is in the Oxford Centre for Technical Excellence and Technically Improving Your Chassis, jacked up and is running in nicely as I speak. It's going to get a race tomorrow. It won't be competitive. I almost guarantee. I keep looking at the chassis, thinking, should I just stick some ballast in there before I even try? Because it'll be 2 weeks before I get another chance to run it. So should I just put some ballast in? I was looking at my hand off camera there, if you wonder where I wistfully went. Because my hand became the chassis.
It was quite Shakespearean, actually. There was a bit of a Yorick moment coming up there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I could do that for you now. Is this a skyline I see before me? That's a line from Shakespeare.
A long lost Shakespeare. Actually,
yeah. No, I've detailed mine a little bit in that I've put some matte on the bits that are too shiny. I've tried the headlight, the tail lights. I decided were a little bit not sharp enough in there's a distinct color separation on the real thing, and it's kind of lost in the model. So I put some silver behind where the reversing lights are, and I put some orange behind where the guess what indicators are, or blinkers for the 3 North Americans. They call them blinkers?
I don't think so, but anyway.
I may have just made that up. I apologise. My xenophobia knows no bounds. Yeah, but I'm quite happy with mine. I'm going to run it. I'm planning to take, because it is Scalextric's inlines, I'm planning to go fully Group A on them and take a couple of Rovers and my Jag.
The Jag.
And I don't care if I don't win a race. I don't care if I am well last in all the races. I will run my Group A's and I will have a little smile on the inside.
Good. Well, it'd be interesting. The tyres on my Marlboro car are much stickier than they were on my Bastos car.
I would say the complete reverse with me. That's
well, there you go. Interesting, isn't it? So, yeah, see how you get on.
I'm going to change my tyres.
Are you going to put some oiled up nonsense on, are you?
Don't say oiled up nonsense, because my mind goes off on
It's a sewer. That's what your mind is.
Just going to rock backwards and forwards, thinking of
gently
oiled up rubber. Anywho, I'm not 100% sure because I haven't done a back-to-back test, but I peeled the tyres off the Marlboro car, and I thought, wow, these are quite narrow, and they've struck me as being quite rubbery and possibly grippy, but this remains to be seen.
Well, yeah, they felt grippier to me, and then as they put it on the track, first few, I happened to remember what the other one did, and this was about 0.8 of a second a lap quicker out the box, as the saying goes.
You want to do what Dave Slaughter does, because he's got some kind of software that...
Drink coffee? I don't know.
Well, you've already had several swigs.
It's tea.
I've been watching.
Decaffeinated at that. And I've run out. Harking back to the slot at Nationals at Electric.
You are saying that.
The computer software running the races, I don't go racing, so maybe this is old hat, but I was mightily impressed because there was a voice counting down saying you've got 2 minutes to the race starts, 30 seconds to the race starts, telling everybody which lane they were in. It would then, don't go, sounding out fastest lap, okay, fine. It would say a minute to go, 30 seconds to go, stop. And then it would automatically tell everybody which lane they were going in, keeping track of it. It was.
When you say it would hang on. When you say it would automatically tell them, are you saying that a Schwarzenegger-style Terminator sentient computer told them where to go?
If you watch the screen, so it gave you the names for that.
Okay, I'm sorry, that's not telling people where to go.
Well, it was informing them. So you look at the screen and you see which lane.
Oh my God! I thought the Americans had some kind of automatic robot.
Some sort of Boston
ChatGPT thing.
Some Boston Dynamics killer dog saying, "You're on lane red."
Yeah. Dave Slaughter, green. Vincent from Australia, yellow. Something like that. But not in that accent.
That wasn't what he was doing.
Okay, but that's what I imagined.
Well, if you watch the video, and 10 hours of it are available, then you see what I mean. So I'm sure it's but it was very impressive. I mean,
I'm going to go and watch it. I might fast forward quite a bit of it, but I might watch a bit of it.
Well, you might,
because I was impressed with the interview with Maurizio. I thought I was impressed with the whole setup. They appear to have a Volkswagen Beetle in the shop.
A Herbie? No, they have a whole Herbie in the shop.
Right. Well, yeah, to have a half of one would be stupid.
Yes. Anyway, it's a cool place, and let's face it, if it
have you
existed, of course not. Well, I haven't been to California for a long time.
No. The way you confidently said it's a cool place was like, oh yeah, I've been there.
Well, because when I watched all this video, there was lots of shots of.
Oh, you feel like you've been there because you've watched 10 hours of it.
I know my way round. Yeah, but it's a cool place, I think, and having that on your relative doorstep must be great. And I'm sure they do it. I think let's not overegg the point. Pendle do the same thing. There are other people who do the same thing to try and kind of grow the market. It's their business after all. But I think if you make it a place that people like coming and you hold events like that, and you've got.
Have you been to Sean's?
No, I've not, because it's in the far distant north, isn't it? Aren't there sort of white people?
Well, there's a lot of snow up that way. They. The last time I went, which was a good few years ago, they had kind of separate the racetrack and the shop were kind of separate. You just go through a doorway, whereas the Electric Dreams appeared to be in a big kind of warehouse unity type thing, storage unity type thing, and it was all mixed up. So
all together, yeah. Well, it's just how you do it, but it's again, I've been raving about it, but I think it deserves a bit of raving about. So,
oh yeah.
And our slot car festival in Gaydon, as we know, envy of the world as far as slot car stuff, I think.
Is it?
Well, can you think of anything else happening anywhere else in the world that's a bit like that? I mean,
Did the Spanish not knock it into a cocked hoop?
They have big elaborate races, but do they have races with lots of tracks for public to try, with all the stalls, with all that? I think it's an overall thing, and I'm biased because it's the Brits. But I think Gaydon is, overall, for everybody, little kids, mums and dads, hardened racers, and, they've got Minic. You don't see Minic at any of the Spanish stuff, do you?
Another reason to go to the Spanish stuff over the Gaydon. I see that guy's Minic stuff every time, and I just walk on past.
Well, that's your soul.
But we've already, we already know, or some of us, those of us who are regular subscribers to the channel, know that you go on about Minic and the catalogues, don't you? I've forgotten about that. You're a Minic boy.
That's a thing. I'm a product of my time, I think.
But it must have been my time as well, but it passed me by. But then time does pass me by. A lot of things pass me by. Thank you. Can I take it back to the Nationals? Because I don't believe we discussed two more things.
Okay, you've got 5 minutes. Go.
To say that we're jumping around and we're not keeping to the what caught my eye what other
no
section
one
we
will
have
be able
on it.
to tell that we've given up scripting. No one will be able to tell.
Did we mention the R8? Oh, we did mention
You
the
did
R8. Sorry, yeah.
See, if you look down, somewhere round about within reach of some paper that you made notes on, that you might want to consult. When you've talked about something, scratch it out.
Now I've just got a blank piece of paper. Did we mention the Nissan, the Datsun?
Right at the top, we said there's the new Nissan Datsun 510 from Slotted, but we can talk about it more.
Well, I thought it warranted a bit more.
Okay.
Love.
What more would you like to say about a car that we can't say any more than it's coming, and it's going to be?
Well, isn't that a good thing?
It is a good thing, and
I mean, I predict it's 2024's car of the year. Yeah, I've said it, and that was without it even being in my hand.
Yeah, okay. That's a bold. That's the boldest claim yet, I think.
It's a ridiculous one. It won't be car of the year, but I think it's a nice area for him to be moving into. Pre-show, we discussed it. I don't think he needs to move into new areas. He could possibly exploit the ones he's in a bit more, but obviously they want to. The pair of them, the Mario brothers, because there's two Maurizios. I just thought it was an interesting move, and those old ones, the Skylines that evolved, that era of Japanese car, I don't know why I've got a soft spot for.
Well, because we were kids and they were exotic, weren't they? Because they were being imported. I don't think we ever had.
I don't think we had that. I googled it
that
after
particular model anyway.
Yeah,
we had Cherries and Sunnies and stuff like that.
Yeah, and a little thing called a 120Y. Was that a car, or have I imagined that?
Yeah, it was a little coupe 120. My first car was a Datsun Cherry 100A, which was sort of post-it note yellow. So I referred to it as the Phantom Banana because it was quite curly. Anyway, and it had a rip-off A-series engine. It was more or less.
All I can tell you about my mate Dave's mother's 120Y is when it runs out of coolant, lemonade isn't a good substitute.
Yeah. It's a sort of prototype Top Gear mess up, that is it. Let's put this liquid in. It'll do. It looks like water. Yeah,
it's clear.
Yeah. But anyway, you go back to the 510. You wanted to talk more about the 510. So
well, just that he's moving into that area. You pointed
that
out
area meaning early 70s, lower power Trans Am
low capacity saloons or sedans, as some North Americans are going to call it. That he's moving into that area. You or somebody said, that's an area that other people, somebody on Slot Forum, I think, said other brands have got, like Revo Slot and Spirit do the BMW 2002, whatever it's called.
Well, Avant Slot now, yeah.
An Avant Slot.
What was Spirit? Yeah.
Oh, Spirit. Sorry, yeah.
Revo Slot are doing them. You've got
Revo Slot are doing the Alpha, that kind of thing. But the idea, the concept of a slotted, what they call GTMs, GTAMs, whatever, the Alphas, that's got to wet your whistle, surely. That would be gorgeous.
Yes, I would think it would be. I mean, I think if I was to pick out one of my slot cars to say it was the most beautiful slot car I own.
This could be interesting, dear listener. Go on.
It would be the Fly Alpha in the red and white livery, which I think was actually raced by Mr. Barrios Sr. And although the model is probably a little overscale, it is just beautiful. Beautiful car, lovely livery. It's very well executed, nice wheels. Quick, not in the slightest bit. But
motors in the front, isn't it?
Motors in the front, exactly. But absolutely beautiful.
Stupid idea.
Yeah, another class for people to buy. But I guess the rate at which Slotted introduced new models.
You said this, yeah.
The running mate for the Nissan Datsun, could be a while away, unless, of course, we're only a few months away from New Year, and he goes, ta-da! Here's an Alpha, here's a BMW, here's a whatever.
I suspect he won't do that, and that slightly narked me the thought that, oh, great, I love the idea, love the concept, well done, Mario Brothers. Clap, clap, clap. How long till we get a stablemate? And the news that the
Never
GTR...
happy, I mean.
No.
Oh, here's the thing I didn't even know existed till 5 minutes ago. Now I want more.
But I'm slightly... I don't know if you've picked up on this, but I'm slightly miffed that the Maserati MC GT3 from Paul Ricard hasn't appeared yet. And before it's appeared, the GTR that I've got that I wanted to race against it, that is already old hat. There's a new one announced, and it'll be better, bigger, better, faster, more. So it's just like, he's like up in the stakes even before the stakes are set, if that's possible.
There's probably a word for that, isn't it? Oh yeah, evolution. But the yes, I don't know where your Maserati has gone. If it wasn't for the fact that I've seen it mentioned on retailers' websites, I'd think it was a figment of your imagination. But anyway,
I think it's a QAnon conspiracy, that one.
I don't really know what QAnon is, so I can't.
Nobody knows what QAnon is.
Is that what no one expects?
The three North Americans might have an idea, but
is it? We best not go there if it's political.
Yeah, we're up to 45 minutes, Scott, and we said we would be more.
I think we should be more concise. So, have you got anything else you'd like to see again about?
Well, have we mentioned the Audi R8? I do apologise.
That's a very good place to stop.
Try living.
Okay. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoy listening to it as much as we.
Listening to me slowly losing the plot.
Yeah, it's an old man losing his mind live on air. But the important thing is, hopefully this one will be louder than the last one. I take responsibility. But a number of people message me saying, can't actually hear what you're saying. So
no pressure on me doing this one then.
Yeah, no pressure. Back to you, Pedro. Anyway, and with that, hopefully you'll hear me saying, thanks for listening. We'll see you again soon. Bye.
Bye. At least it would be goodbye if my mouse hadn't gone to sleep again. I'll just... You've
got wildlife on your desk.
Yeah, now I can hit the button and we can say goodbye. Stay fresh, cheese bags.